Wondershare Filmora is a user-friendly, easy-to-use
Hello guys, I hope you can see me. I'm just setting these things up. I'm just going to have a chat for about 2 minutes. Make sure that the stream is coming good. The chat is fine, the volume is fine, the output is fine, all of that. So once that is set right, we'll jump in and start talking about this and that. Fine. So please do ping me, give me some thoughts and feedback on YouTube, just to say whether things are fine, whether the volume is coming clearly, whether the audio is fine, the video is fine, and all the rest of it. Fine. So please do ping me on YouTube on the comment section, just to tell me that things are fine. I'm just looking to see the comments, so please ping me as quickly as possible. Once we hear that, once I see the comment saying that things are fine, that we can continue, I will jump in and start talking about this and that. Fine. So I know this is a crucial phase for quite a few of you. I'm just waiting for a couple of minutes. We'll set this up nice and fine so that we don't get interrupted somewhere down the way. Right? Okay, guys, do send me your thoughts. And we'll just, once we are clear about it, we can jump in and start talking. I'm so used to saying jump in and start shooting that I say that. Fine. So continue, sir. Fine, sir. Yes, audio is fine. So quite a few people seem to be saying that the audio is clear. Audio and video are all good, and then and that we should continue and jump in and start with this. And so it's me a second. I'm just setting something else also up. Once we set that up, we will continue. Give me a 1 second. Give me 1 second. I just want to see if one particular picture that I wanted is sitting inside somewhere. Once that is there, we can continue with the session. Just give me 1 second. We'll put this in. Then we are good. I'm sorry if you had to see some unseemly things on the screen. I'm just not yet completely tech savvy. We've not set this up, some confusion there. Wonderful, guys. I'm going to start talking. We're going to start with some very basic ideas about what to do now, what we are thinking of once these result seasons are out. Those of you who have not been that happy with the results and so disappointed with CAT, what do? I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry if you had to see the screen. Disappointed with the results. What to do now? I find quite a few students jumping in and saying, I'm hearing comment that volume is too low. I think my volume is slipped off. I'm going to jack up the volume. And so quite a few results are out. This is a season where we all invest heavily emotionally in this process of preparing for CAT exam, interviews, all of that. And so but things don't always pan out the way we want them to. There's every chance that the results did not go the way you wanted them to go. And so there's every possibility that finally, all taken into account, it didn't fall in place the way. And so this happens. Pick yourself up. This is not the end of the world. This is just a 3-hour exam. This is not a reflection of what you're capable of doing, what you're capable of achieving. And so even if you want to get into business and be an entrepreneur, MBA is not the only route to do that. The best companies worldwide have been created by people who are not MBAs. Okay? So even if you do want to do an MBA, the IIMs are not the only place to do that. Even if you do want to do it in IIMs, joining in 2020 is not the only year to do that. And so those of you who've got great colleges, the colleges that you wish to join, wonderful colleges, feel thrilled about it. Congratulations. It's a dream, and it's wonderful that you're able to do that. Those of you who have not, don't feel too bad. The vast majority of students are likely to be in the place where they're that little bit disappointed with the results. This happens to a great majority of people who attempt competitive exams, especially in our country. And so there are few success stories that all of us hear about, and there are great many near misses and horrible misses that we don't hear that much about, but are happening, that are very real events. And so if you are in that group who's not quite happy with it, pick yourself up, give yourself a break, give yourself a breather, take stock of what you want to do. You should broaden your options. You're going to think about, okay, am I definitely doing an MBA, or can I do have fast career progression and do fantastic things without an MBA? Right. So therefore, if you're going down the route that you have to do an MBA, cast your net wider this time. When you're doing the IIMs, you write XAT, SNAP, IIFT, NMAT, the whole shebang. And the top 20 colleges in India are wonderful. And so, second thing, don't leave that many things to chance this time around. I've seen so many of our students give themselves a decent chance, but not be foolproof in one attempt. And so they're good in arithmetic, they do very good in DI, but get smacked in some classic simple puzzles in logical reasoning because they simply not touch permutation, combination, and set theory. Get beaten up in geometry and have a 98.2 percentile, which leaves you sometimes neither here nor there. And so you don't get admitted to colleges that are juicy. You don't want to join the colleges that do take you. So it's 98.2 is as good as an 85.5 or 72.1. So it really doesn't matter. That can happen. So, but I've seen a nice minority of these students who jump in and say, next time I'm leaving nothing to chance. I'm taking 35 mocks. I'm strengthening my core. I'm building my weakness areas. I'm eliminating chances of errors. I'm reading 12 novels and then amping up whatever it was by 25%. So put fight to be in that brigade. And I'm getting quite a few comments saying among these colleges what we should select for. I'm going to do one bit about the order of colleges, the sequence of colleges. We are going to do that, so don't be in a hurry. And we will take comments toward the end of the session. And so don't rush out through this, and please do post your questions on specific college queries in comments and not in chat. Comments stay forever. We will answer those as much as possible, maybe over the next 48 hours. And if you haven't worry about college X or college Y, then jump in. We will answer those. And so do post them in comments, specific queries. Now I'm going to talk about the more global things. If you're disappointed with the results, pick yourself up, cast your net wide, think about CAT and GMAT. To take stock, take a break. Don't sit alone. Don't be in a funk. If you're going to prepare again, put a nice plan. Amp up your mocks. You probably know what this exam is about. Now this is about getting geared and being intense and being exam ready. So amp up your mocks. Bring your mocks forward. Do a lot of planning related to mocks, and then give yourself a full-fledged attempt. But do attempt CAT, XAT, SNAP, IIFT, NMAT, and possibly think about GMAT. Broaden your horizon, open up yourself, amp up your intensity. After a break, pick yourself up. Fine. Right now, watch a movie, take 3 days off. You basically invested emotionally in this, and you've gotten beaten up. So take 2-3 days off, switch off, then start preparing. And not determined by what you miss out on. It's how successful you are going to be pretty much your ability to pick yourself up again. And so pick yourself up and launch yourself. Fine. I'm going to go to the next segment that we want to talk about. Fine. So think about this. IIM X versus IIM Y. How do we decide? So which college should I go? What is the ranking within the IIMs? And so where do we stand vis-a-vis what is the sequence in which you should attempt IIMs? And some of these are very obvious, and for some whenever you think about the IIM, the standard orders are known, and then we go deeper and talk about something else. Right? So I'm going to first outline the standard order so that we know what these are. Right? So A, B, C, L, I, K, they're there, and we all know that, probably in that order. Ahmedabad, Bangalore, Calcutta, Lucknow, Indore, Kozhikode. Within this, the non-IIMs will come, which is the top 3-4 non-IIM colleges are going to be XLRI, FMS, SP Jain. Right, so maybe NMIMS and NITI in the mix, a little lower down the order, the sequence. FMS is a joker in the pack because the fees are incredibly low. So if you want to do something entrepreneurial or skip something and go and not have too much of a debt, then FMS you need to take it very seriously. Between Lucknow and XLRI, Lucknow shades it. A bunch of consulting companies turn up at Lucknow which don't go to XLRI, which is not the case a few years ago, but this year now it is probably like that. And so between XLRI and Indoor Kozhikode, probably XLRI shades it. Right? Indoor Kozhikode SP Jain will probably be in the same bracket. Not much to choose. It depends on your style, your location, what you prefer, all of that. But this is a set of factors too. This is a broad list for kind of tier 1, the top 10, top 12. Then come IIT Bombay, IIT Delhi, then IIT Kharagpur, the newer IIMs, MDI Gurgaon, IMT Ghaziabad, XIM Bhubaneswar, this set of colleges. Then come the next set of colleges. IIT Madras would be in this list. Great Lakes would be in this list. BIM Trichy would be in this list. And then come the slightly newer IIMs, baby IIMs, the other IITs, IIT Roorkee, etc. That will come in tier 3. So the top 10 to 15, the next 20 to 25, and then the final 25 to 30. And so this is all worthwhile colleges. How do you evaluate which college to do? We have said IIM X versus IIM Y. How do I evaluate whether I should even join a given IIM where I am based on? Fine. So bunch of factors to keep in mind. I'm going to break it into 2 parts. Am I doing CAT 2020 again, or am I just joining? For just joining, it is heavily a function of where you are. And so if you've graduated as an engineer, you work for 2 years in a tier 1 firm, which is basically you graduated and you've been working for a Qualcomm or a Google or a Microsoft, or you're a chartered accountant working in one of the big 3, then you're going to talk about ABCL. Probably that's it. If you've been working with Qualcomm, Indoor Kozhikode are all right, but not beyond that. And so keep that in mind. So you got where you are matters. If you're a fresh engineering graduate, you don't really have a job in hand. If things don't pan out, you're going to join in one of the IT firms 6 months down the line. That is in December or January, at a starting salary of 3.5 lakhs per annum. Then you can join anything in the top 30. You'll go places. Fine. So which college is relevant for you is heavily a function of where you are. Suppose you're earning 10 lakhs per annum right now. 2 years later, it's likely to be in the 13 lakhs per annum bracket or 12 lakhs per annum bracket. You simply cannot join a Bschool which has an average exit salary of 15 lakhs per annum. It's not enough of a leap, enough ROI for you to do that. Fine. So that is something to keep in mind. If you're a fresh graduate or you're working in a random firm getting paid 17,000 per month, then till college number 40, 45, 50 are relevant for you. And so where you are will drive that decision of whether you're joining. And how to decide based on this? The rankings and placement records are the number 1 parameters. And what people think of it, perception ranking, placement record. How much do people pay? The proof of the pudding is in the eating. And the academic rigor, faculty, etc. is important, no doubt about it. But this is not, you're in a Bschool for career progression, not for the love of learning. Of course, for the love of learning, but not merely for the love of learning. You're in it to get a tangible outcome on going ahead in your career prospect in the business stream, either a shift or progression. And so where you get your biggest boost, you should go there. And so keep that in mind. That is the biggest factor. There are a bunch of factors: placement, record, alumni network, faculty, infrastructure, all of these. But the crucial parameter is what I would call as placement. Then would come the brand, the power of the brand. Right? The factors to consider are these ones: placement record, power of the brand, network, faculty, infrastructure, ranking, perception. These come in the mix. Right? Quite a few have been asking what is the ranking between A, B, C. All 3 are good problem to have. For Bangalore and Ahmedabad these days have a bigger consulting bias. Calcutta has a slightly more quant bias, has always had. And so if you're heavily interested in finance, probably a mild bias towards Calcutta. Even that is not a heavy bias. ABC, all of you give you all kinds of finance jobs. If you're consulting, then there is a bias against Calcutta towards Ahmedabad, Bangalore. But this is marginal. We are really splitting hairs here. Pick based on whether your friends are going there, whether you like the city. Ahmedabad has historically had an edge over the other two. Mild edge, minuscule. Fine. So I went to IIM Bangalore, so remember that. So I'm not going to sing praises of Ahmedabad. Fine. So it's minuscule. So you're splitting hairs here. If you're picking and worrying about between A, B, C, what should I choose? You're having a good problem. Get out of here. Speak to 3 alumni and go with your gut. Fine. So I'm not going to spend too much time thinking which way you should go among these. Fine. So return on investment is a factor. How much loan am I taking? How much will I get paid at the end of it? The top 40-45 justify a return on investment, but it's not just how much money you are putting and how much you're getting back. It's also a function of how much you're leaving on the table. What is your opportunity cost? That is a very big factor. And if you're getting 9 lakhs per annum, only 6 colleges are applicable for you. If you're getting 7 lakhs per annum, 15 colleges are applicable for you. If you're getting 4 lakhs per annum, 40 colleges are applicable for you. Right? So keep that in mind. So that difference, it's a function of where you are rather than what the college can give you. Right? Wonderful. Let's go to the next set of questions. Let's set net idea. Should I pick an admit or should I go for CAT 2020? Fine. Linked question. Fine. Linked with this one. What are the factors for governing whether I should go again or this? Fine. So a couple of things. How close has been your miss? Which college you're ending up with? And I've given advice to guys both ways about this. So it's very case specific. And so if you're going for A, B, C, L, I, K, XLR, FMS, SPJN, the bias is heavily towards joining. And so these are wonderful colleges. They can take you places. It's a no-brainer kind of decision. So that's the kind of thing that you should jump and say, okay, I'm joining. I'll make it count. I'll make it work. Right? This again is a function of where you are and how much of a close miss it was. If you've taken CAT thrice and you've got 91, 93, 95 in some order, the 3 times, and you'd really need a 99 to go to your preferred bracket, then you should be realistic, pragmatic, and say, I've given it 3 goes. It ain't happening. And then you go. But if all your mock scores were 99.5, on the exam day you messed up and got a 95, you're confident of getting at least 98.5 next time, then you should probably gamble. And how reliably confident are you with your CAT score? Where you are right now, can you afford to work for 1 more year? Are you enjoying your job? These 2 are crucial factors. Where have you secured your admit? If it is the top 6, top 7, really speaking, between even Ahmedabad, Bangalore and Indore Kozhikode, the cap is not that big. Ahmedabad, Bangalore get about 6 to 8 college companies that recruit from them, but not from Indore Kozhikode. And the really juicy consulting and investment banking jobs. Right? But if you're not going to be in the mix, if you're not going to be in the top 10% of Ahmedabad, which is freakishly tough, or you're not really interested in investment banking or consulting, not your cup of tea, then the guy who's 80th out of 400 in Indore and the guy who's 160th out of 400 in Ahmedabad are likely going to end up with the same job. And your prospects could be properly kick-ass better finishing in the top 10% in Indore than finishing in the median of an Ahmedabad class. And so it's not a giant difference. The economy has grown and exploded in the last 15-18 years. When I joined my college, we used to have a flippant attitude towards Indore and Kozhikode. I remember I didn't get a call from Kozhikode. I was like, I got A, B, C, L, I didn't get a call from Kozhikode. I was peeved. Then I realized I didn't even tick that box. We were so cocky back then. Not a wise decision. I'm not proud of it. But Indore and Kozhikode were 1 year old or 1.5 years old, 2 years old. We didn't care about them. And the economy could reasonably employ graduates from 6 to 8 colleges. If you were from the 14th ranked college and you did an MBA, chances are you wouldn't have a job. Right? So now that's not the case. The economy is 6x, 10x, 12x what it was in 2000. And so you will, the prospects delta gap between Ahmedabad and Indore is not that high, leaving out the juiciest jobs, the core creme de la creme jobs. You leave those out and then the gulf is not too high. And so play your cards well. Don't do that. The other view, what is the reason to write again? And if you're working in a Microsoft or Google, getting paid 9 lakh, 10 lakhs per annum, 11 lakh per annum in a good tech company which has got a global brand, where you might even go places with a GMAT, then no point joining anything outside the top 7, top 8. Not going to give you a meaningful boost. So dump that. Fine. Next thing, if you've got 4 years experience, my bias is towards joining. If you're a fresher, bias is towards taking again. Experience improves your credential. If you've got 4 years experience when you applied this time, you'll have 5 years experience when you apply for 2020, 5.5 before you join. Right? Which is not the end of the world. There are lots of people who join with 5.5 years experience and then do well. But you practically have maximum 1 more shot at CAT. You're loading risk into your system. Right? Now that is an issue. But if you're a fresher, you've got 1 year experience. If you've got 1 year experience or 0 years experience, you're going to have 3 more shots at CAT, XAT, SNAP, NMAT, maybe GMAT. And with every further year of experience, your profile improves, your ability to answer questions improves, your understanding of the economy improves, your ability to answer questions on why MBA improves. Wonderful. And so you should hang in there and give it another go. Right? But even if you have 3 years experience, it's not the end of the world. So many people come and ask me, I have 42 months experience. Is it even worthwhile doing CAT? Right? So that's the next segment. I have 42 months experience or 45 months experience now. Is it even worth my while trying CAT? Should I even attempt it? What is the point? It is definitely worth your while. You can still compellingly or very competitively do a 2-year MBA and go places. The difference between somebody with 36 or 40 months experience and 24-25 months experience, culturally, behaviorally, in terms of how you will address your peer group and how you will fit into a Bschool, all of that is not so high. Fine. So if you've got 40 months plus experience, should you preparing for CAT again? Not the end of the world. You can. Fine. Should I join? 40 plus months is not the end of the world. Fine. So with the median experience in quite a few places is close to 2.5 to 3. You're what? 4 months older than that. You're not going to stand out as the Gandhi in a batch of who's the right example? Rahul Gandhi's. Fine. So you're not going to stand out as a sore thumb oldie in your batch. You'll have comfortably enough conversation and links to points to shoot the breeze with people. Right. So if you have 40 plus months of experience in getting into a reasonable college, there's absolutely no reason you should not take it. Right? Attempting CAT again, you can attempt. Suppose you've got into IIM Trichy and you want to. You're thinking about, okay, do I go to IIM Trichy or do I gamble with IIM ABC? That'll come back to a very tricky, dicey thing. ABC are intensely competitive. And so remember that. With 40 plus months, you have only 1 more shot, very serious shot. And you don't want to do an MBA, which is a 2-year MBA with 8 years of experience. And so you don't want to load up the risk, and IIM Trichy is a very good college. And so that'll come back to the other variable. Where are you now? If you work for 40 plus months in 3 different jobs across industry and you're getting paid 23,000 a month, and jump, go to IIM Trichy, make it count, get a plum job, finish in the top 10%, fly. Right? But you have 40 plus experience in Accenture, where you later shifted to Verizon, and you're getting paid 9.5 lakhs per annum. You know that you have a GMAT option also coming up. Yeah, you have plenty of cards to play with. Gamble and give it 1 more shot. That other variable will come into picture. Bunch of things to remember. Keep a bunch of multiple variables, not only 1 or 2. It's not like a handout. I can hand out an answer. It's your personal decision and risk appetite as well. So take in inputs and then you apply thought and think about where you're headed. The more experience you have, the higher the bias towards taking an MBA without gambling for CAT again. The higher the place you are at currently, the more the bias is to say, I'll join only the top few colleges. Obvious, not rocket science. Right? How confident you are of pulling off this CAT percentile next time around. If you've got a very bad, what you thought was a poor CAT performance but ended in a decent score and interviews went completely your way, then there is some meaning to gambling again. Otherwise, it's not. And so keep that in mind. 40 plus experience, months of experience, you won't feel out of place. You'll not be the old man in the pack. Don't worry about it. We've had guys who've gone to colleges with 5 years, more than 5 years of experience, got into great internships and fantastic placements, been the stars of the batch easily. Right? So don't think you'll stick out as a sore thumb. You won't. The next bit, how does COVID-19 impact my Bschool journey? Online classes for first term impact on Bschool experiences. COVID does affect, no doubt about it. It's going to affect your experience for the first year, how much of your batch you get to see and form a bond with and really enjoy yourself. It's going to impact your learning. It's going to impact your summer internship. It's going to impact your placements. All tangible, real, crucial things. And so there's nothing any one of us could have done. This is the hand we have been dealt. So don't cry over spilt milk too much. You can't keep cursing COVID for everything. This is not something that is you specific. The world is facing with it. There's not been an issue which the whole world has faced like this one in probably 60-70 years. We'll have to go back as far as World War II to see a pan-world impactful event. Right? So this is our new normal. This is our life. Dealing with COVID and pretending that we get on with it is our new normal. And so online classes for the first time, you can pick it up. Bunch of you have been learning online for a while now. So many of you have seen so many stuff from 2IIM online platform. Obviously the IIMs can't compete to the level that we teach. Just kidding. But an online platform these days, online platforms are pretty decent. They're good. The professors are good. They know the system. They reach out. And you're going to be learning online. The chances are almost all IIMs will say all colleges will say first term is online. We'll pick up the pieces in October. Chances are internship is going to happen in December and not in September. Right? Fingers crossed, by the time you're at the beginning of your second year, you are not worried about this that much. A year from now, we're not all the while thinking about masks and social distancing. We're thinking about it. We're being a little careful, but not all the time. And so keep that in mind. My gut feel in terms of how it will impact your life, online won't be a killer. It'll be a pain in the neck. And the first term in a Bschool is baptism by fire. Brilliant. You're in a new place. You're thrown with a bunch of people. You have to make your relationships. You have to navigate a bunch of stuff that you've never heard before. You make friends. Some of those relationships last for life. And I'm in touch with this lockdown. I'm having Zoom calls with my batchmates and having chats with my friends. And then I graduated. Let me not say that number. It makes me feel old. And quite a while ago. But you're going to miss out on that because first term is where the bonds are forged in fire. Yeah, price to pay, not too heavy. Placement is a big deal. I don't think that will be materially impacted. For you guys, placement is going to be taken very seriously in Jan or Feb 2022. That's 18 months from now. Right? We're already getting used to this thing. We're already handling it. There'll definitely be medication. There's a decent chance there'll be vaccines. There is even a probability that there'll be some amount of herd immunity. And so for all the way COVID has dominated our life, we've been hearing about COVID very seriously in India from only about March 1st. It has not had its 6 months. But the moment it has its 6 months, it will start fading. We'll not always be talking about daily mortality rates and daily case numbers 6 months from now. We won't be. And so at some point of time, you have to pick up your pieces and say, okay, I will pretend life is fine. Be careful, be safe, have social distancing, all of that. And so don't do any of the crankier things and be well within your limits. This is time to be freakishly careful. No doubt about it. We at 2IIM, we've shut down our office. We go there to water our plants. That's it. Nothing else. And so we're all in 6 different cities. We do Zoom calls. I hate them. I hate them with a passion. But such is life. But I get to at least see the rest of my team, say hi, hello to them, and share a common band in this journey. We are suffering as far as output is concerned, as far as linking. What we used to just put up the hand and say, look, we want a PPT like this, let's do the video like this, why don't we do this meme? They're all wonderful, creative, fun things. We all love our office and we love working in the place where we work. It's a pain in the neck, right? But such is life. You grin and bear it. Your online course is going to be like that. So that's the part you grin and bear. Online class for the first time, you manage. The impact on Bschool experience, it's a price to pay. I don't think it'll materially kill your career prospects. Final placements too far away to be destroyed. Internships will be a little bit of a struggle across the board, not the end of the world. Even your McKinsey's, BCG's, Hindustan Levers, ICICI, City Groups, they'll find a way. They'll find a way to interview you, either by video conferencing or in small pools, and keep distancing in mind, remove group discussions, do a digital learning thing, online testing. They'll find a way. For summer internship is a year away. Placements are 2 years away. I wouldn't bury my Bschool aspirations in the dark overhang of COVID that we are feeling today. Right about 2.5 months from the time we started really worrying about it. 12.5 months from the time we started really worrying about it, we won't be worrying about it so much. And we need to pick ourselves up. We are resilient, and we have faced far worse things and survived. Right. Next chunk, recession and its impact on summer internship and placement. Recessions by nature are crash and bounce events. Remember that. Fine, like pride comes before a fall. What goes up comes down. All good. What goes down comes up. And the world has seen plenty of recessions, mini ones, big ones, great ones, event-driven ones, structure-driven ones, seasonality ones, banking system-driven ones, boom-bust-driven ones, tech-driven ones. All of these we have seen. Oil price inflation-driven ones. We've also seen varieties of this in 50 years. Pandemic-driven one is the most recent. This is a double whammy. Find recessions that are event-based, crash, and then bounce back. Recessions that are structurally slide down and then scramble back up. So the economy slows down for 2-3 quarters, hits a set of poor -0.1, -0.5 type sluggish things, and then slowly come back. Or there's been a tsunami in a place, a big earthquake in a place, a war and the rest of it. Then you have a crash. I mean, economic activity is down by 30% for 3 weeks, and then it bounces back up and you're back on track. This one's a double whammy. We've had a crash, like some report I think by Goldman Sachs saying quarter-on-quarter annualized rate for India is down 45%, half. From last quarter to this quarter, economic activity is down by a half. I can imagine. I'm not even saying that number is anomalous. I'm seeing we've stopped everything. Right. So, but they're saying it'll bounce back by 25% or 20% next quarter. And so even then we are not back to the real. So this is going to crash and recover slowly. And so, but even having said that, even then the crash and recovery will happen. And right now we are in the midst. We're right in the middle. We are right now. We're seeing bazillion things crashing and stopping. We're relentless stream of bad news. I'm an internal optimist. I'm an entrepreneur. Optimism is like a necessary criteria. If you're not sufficiently optimistic, they'll kick you out of the entrepreneurship jamboree. Fine. So I don't think our economic activity is going to crash for 4 years. It's going to be a struggle. We'll get used to it. We'll fight. We're resilient people. We're incredibly resilient Indians. And so we've had a lot of stuff thrown at us. We always come back. And so we are not the most disciplined or the greatest or the phenomenally innovative, creative, the top notch, but we are resilient. There is one thing that we are resilient, and we will find our juggards out of these things, and we'll find them so magnificently that we will take this all in our stride and continue with life. Right. So recession is going to be there. Definitely this quarter, April, May, June, we are smack in the middle of a crash. We are crashing. July, August, September will hold fort. Right. So the last quarter of this year, we'll start managing things. We will do almost everything that we would have otherwise done. We'll have loss of life. We'll have trouble. We'll have disease, illness, people struggling, but we'll still have our economic activity. So the recession is not going to stay for 8 quarters. This is not a functional weakening of India's capability. It's a hit. And likewise the world. They're opening up the Premier League and Spanish League. They're playing football for God's sake. Starting in another a week and 3 weeks. The German league has already started. And so we will all find our ways of pretending that things are not worst. And the recession will be there for this quarter. Will not recover completely for 2 quarters, but it's not going to kill your final placements. And it will likely kill some aspects of summer internship. Not the end of the world. Go for it. It won't. I wouldn't worry too much about it. And next chunk. Before we go to the next chunk, I'm going to take a pause and have a chat with you guys about this and that. I'm going to fudge this. I'm going to take a. Let me just see if I can change this system. So guys, we run a company called PyVerb, and so which does maths for school kids, and so it has been a pet project for a long time. So we've been doing that for a while now. So I have one very clear request from you guys. We've had a lot of schools talk to us, a lot of consultants, a lot of principals, vice principals, teachers reach out to us and say they've been overwhelmed by the sheer number of choices available for their course this time around. And so what can they do? So we did a very nice simple video saying what are the factors they need to keep in mind to take this decision. And all of you are responsible citizens. You're quite likely to have nephews and nieces and cousins in school who are going to be worrying about this. I'm sure they're all attending Zoom classes where they're taking data in with them. I'm sure they're worrying about buying an online product of some form. And so we sat together and put together a simple video where we said, what are the factors schools should consider before choosing an online course? What should they do? Like NMIMS and NITI and IIM Calcutta and IIM Bangalore and IIM Indore and SPJ, and they're all saying one term online and then we'll worry about it later on. I'm sure Alpha School and Beta School and Gamma schools are also doing that, but they are less equipped to take this decision. They don't understand an online platform and an LMS and what feature this offers, what feature that offers, and all that. So we put together a simple video which just covers the factors for this. And so I want 2 things from you. I want you guys to click on that our YouTube page for PyVerb. I want you guys to subscribe to that and help us on our journey on PyVerb. It's been a pet project for a long time. I got into the business of teaching because I wanted to teach school kids math. CAT happened because it happened. I like training for CAT, and so it's been a wonderful journey for almost more than a decade. And so, but I love handling maths for school kids, and we built an entire course there. So I want you guys to check out PyVerb, give us your thoughts, but please subscribe to the YouTube channel. More than this, I want you to click on that one video, which I think is going to be a very helpful video for a bunch of principals and math teachers across the country for schools, for them to take their decision. We're not pitching anything. We don't have a course. We have nothing to offer for a principal who is worrying about these variables. But the many principals I speak to, they don't know, they're not thinking far ahead enough. They're saying, okay, WhatsApp and video call will run the course. It doesn't work like that. You need to, it's a more considered decision than that. So please do watch that video, send us your thoughts, and please do share that video, send that video across to a bunch of people so that they take more informed decisions than they seem to be doing right now. And sorry for that plug. Now that we're done with that plug, I'm going to jump in and think about how to prepare for if I've got an MBA, what do I do? If I've gotten into an MBA, I've been selected, what do I do in the next 2 months? How do I prepare myself for an MBA? And so, wonderful question. Switch off and train yourself. It's very crucial. And so, good to be prepared before you go in. And so, if you're an engineer, do brush up on some amount of basic accounts, basic economics. It's very important, very crucial. Please do that. When I joined MBA, I had not worked. I was fresh out of college. I just turned up on day 1 and said, look, let's have a go at this. It was all right, not the end of the world. I still survived and did very well. But it's prudent to go through some basic stuff. If you're a commerce grad, it helps to go through probability and statistics. And so definitely get more quantitatively oriented. Many of you might already know this. But if you're not comfortable with probability and statistics, now is a good time to amp that up. That is preparation wise. Mentally gear yourself. This is the first time in the MBA is tough. When they'll throw the book at you, they'll throw the kitchen sink at you. When they believe that you forge people through tons and tons of difficult stuff, and then they get better. So by design, MBA first terms are insanely hard on students, and so keep that in mind. So prepare yourself mentally to go there. And what specialization should you pick? If you have a natural finance aptitude, if you have a quantitative aptitude, if you've been a commerce grad, you like the big three, you don't audit, then finance is a good specialization to veer towards. If you like the idea of selling, idea of pitching, idea of ads, idea of brands, idea of creating a value proposition, idea of product management, then marketing is your thing. If you're not that clear, veer towards general management or consulting, then make your decisions later on. There is no big bias towards any one stream that is going to be a compelling proposition. Do an MBA well, perform well, and that will take you places. But don't worry about which specialization is going to be meaningful. What should you do now? Brush up on your probability and statistics. Pick up a nice accounting book. Do the very basics. Read up on economics. Read up on what's happening in the world, and mentally gear yourself. And if you have a month, use that well. Chances are the IIMs will give you some kind of preparatory material to read before you join college. So make sure you cover that. Make sure you cover that ground sufficiently well. Some of you have been working for 2-3 years. You might not even have the habit of sitting through hours and hours of classrooms. Your brain might fade off and take a walk. So gear yourself for all that. CAT preparation in many ways is that, but this is going to be an intense, serious ride. Mentally gear yourself. Very crucial. And you will have to hit the ground running. Even if it is online, you'll have to hit the ground running. The moment you go, you'll be flying. In about 4 or 5 days, they'll throw assignments at you. And so be mentally prepared for that. If you're comfortable with quants, read economics and accounts. If you're comfortable with commerce, read probability and statistics. If you're not really comfortable with either, read both sets. Get some basic ideas in place before you jump into the place. And so you should do about 6 to 8 hours of reading for each of these: economics, accounts, probability and statistics minimum. So cover that before you enter into a class. That is something that you should look to do, especially because your term one is going to be far tougher, because you're going to do it digitally, online, all of that. So keep that in mind. Chances are their first term is going to be insanely tough and tricky to navigate, but probably not intensely competitive, because you're not going to be in class in campus. They'll find a work around the grading system and mix it up. But any which way, it's going to be an experience which is freakishly tough. So mentally tune in and accept that. That's the most important thing. Right? The last bit that I wanted to speak about was how to prepare for CAT 2020. Those of you who are jumping in, the eternal question on what percentile should I aim for? You should aim for 99.99, 99.8, 99.7, the high 99s or 100 percentile. That's what you should aim for. Why not? Right? So what do you need to get a call? If you have a great profile from ABC, you need 99.65, 99.7. If you have one thing iffy, you need 99.8. If you have two things iffy, you need 99.9. If just one thing is a nightmare, you need 100. It's not rocket science. If you want to get into the top 3 colleges in the country, you need to be in the top 100 students applying for that, especially if you have a hole in your CV. And I'm not going to dive into answering that. Even just how to prepare for CAT 2020, we're going to have a detailed 1 hour long preparation strategy session week on from now. I think either next Saturday or Sunday, we'll do a full live session on how to prepare for CAT 2020. And so this is more about decision making and what are the variables to keep in mind when you are preparing for when you're taking this decision. Right? So I'm not going to delve too much into how to prepare for CAT 2020. Dive in this time a week from now, Saturday or Sunday. We'll just send you a mail 6 days or 7 days from now, 10 to 11. We'll run a complete session on how to prepare for quant, TLR, VRC, mocks, how many to take, when to take, how to plan your preparation, what schedule, whether your work ex, what should you plan, if you can prepare only on weekends, how should you plan, all of that. And so there's going to be an entire session on that, so please do turn up for that, and then have a run. I'm going to jump out of this and say, okay, I'm going to take some questions. I'm going to look at all the questions that you're the bunch of comments that you guys have said. Before that, just a very quick recap. Many congratulations for all of you who have been selected in wonderful colleges, going to your dream colleges and enjoying yourself. Great, have fun, have a rich experience. One thing that I forgot to say about what you should do in your MBA, how you should prepare yourself for academic excellence, and strive to be in the top 1/4 of the batch, and there is no reason to not be in the top half of the batch. And you can go into IIM Ahmedabad, 1 out of 450 students. If you're in the last 70, you've just basically been given a gift and you've thrown it away. You've stared a gift horse in the mouth. And that's not a good place to be in. This is not a thing where you settle down and say, okay, ab to yahan pahunch gaya, mast hai. This is some place where you make it count. And if you've gotten into, I have known scores and scores of classmates. One was lucky enough to make to IIM Bangalore, Calcutta. Another who missed a bus a couple of occasions in CAT and ended up with IIM Kozhikode or Indore. All magnificent colleges, but there is a gap between those two. But the Kozhikode guy gets a far better job than the Bangalore guy because he's gone there and cooled off. This is a high, and admit is a place which is a point to celebrate. But please remember, for the love of God, that is also an opportunity. It's up to you to make it count. Don't throw it away. Right? A bunch of other questions I've got by messages from the team. Should I prefer IIMs or private institutions? The ranking matters. IIM or private doesn't matter too much, especially because the prices of all of these are the same. How should you take value from an MBA course? Think about what works for you, which college, which specialization you might naturally have an aptitude for. Prepare yourself for an academic journey in an intensely competitive environment. Don't cool off. Don't go there and be the laid back, laissez-faire, must guy. There's no point. There's no joy in that. Turn up and do well. Right? That's about it from here. So I'm going to jump back to YouTube and say how we can what other questions are there that we can think about. I'm just going to check out my messages to see there anything that I've missed. Nothing here. So I'm going to jump in here and talk about the question that are sitting there. Average placement of Udaipur, Raipur, Trichy. The statistics are available. Please ping them. Please look at their websites. Check out from their website. Don't listen to what I am saying. The ranking between the IIMs, Ranchi, Trichy, Udaipur, Trichypur. I've heard from whatever we've gathered that Ranchi and Trichy are a smidgen above the other four. Some people have been saying Indore, Kozhikode and Shillong and the newer IIMs. Indore and Kozhikode are better than Shillong. Indore and Kozhikode are better than the 6 new IIMs. No doubt about it. All 6 new IIMs are starting at an advantage over all the baby IIMs. Things might change 2 years from now, but right now they're not. The eternal other question, I've got this, how do I prepare given that there's a score I've got? The score doesn't matter. If you know your strengths and weaknesses, and you know that you have a hole in VRC or quant, plug that. If you don't know, prepare as if you're preparing for CAT all over again. If in all colleges in the same league, what should be the deciding factor? Placements or the tag? I would go for placements. There's a heavy correlation between placements and tag. All other things being equal, IIM or not IIM would shade it. IIMs lend a natural brand element which they have, just their legacy. Maybe it'll disappear, but today they have. IMK or FMS, my bias would be towards FMS. I think they are broadly at the same level. FMS is dirt cheap. Right. Let me just see what other questions are there. How is FABM for IMA? FABM is a fabulous course. If your FABM is going to be heavily determined by how much of an agri-rural management preference you have. If you have that, then IMA FABM is a fabulous course. Fine. So those of you who are interested in rural management and in agri-business management, it's fabulous. Fine. So If you like that, the top few courses on that in India are good. Right? So it won't compete with the PGDM, but you are not looking to compete with the PGDM, right, with the MBA course. It is well structured, it is competitive, it's wonderful. If you're looking at agri-business management, the FABM course is brilliant. PGP, the business analytics course is new, but I've heard it is good. Again, that becomes heavily a function of, are you interested in that? If business analytics is naturally your cup of tea, you can go and make it count. But it is an entrance angle to this. Keep that in mind. I'm a company secretary. What leverage will I get to the degree in calls and interviews? And nothing in calls. Nothing in calls. Calls a bunch of black boxes. You put the boxes. If you clear that number, you'll get called. In the interviews, something, but not a huge amount for the top few colleges. Not because company secretaryship doesn't mean much, but it's an intensely competitive place. If you look at the IIM Ahmedabad or Bangalore shortlist, you'll have a bunch of IITians, bunch of NIT guys, bunch of guys from extraordinarily good companies, bunch of chartered accountants, lawyers, doctors, and company secretaries. In that peer group, company secretary is good, but it's not a killer advantage. And the higher the college you go, the competition is more intense. IIM Ranchi ranking over SCM HRD. So see, IIM Ranchi has done better than the other 3-4 in the newer IIMs. It's got the IIM tag. SCM HRD is a good college. It's got a wonderful legacy. But compared to say 10-15 years ago, they're the ones who have probably slipped a little bit in the ranking, not because they have done anything wrong, but because the IIMs have just exploded. And we always knew that when IIMs went from 6 to 13 to 18, it will affect rankings. Clearly, there'll be a bunch of colleges which get overtaken by the IIM just by virtue of the fact that they're IIMs. So why has Ranchi caught up with SCM HRD? It's an IIM. It's an Indian Institute of Management. Symbiosis Pune is a private brand, and quite a few times some of their admission policies have left all of us scratching our heads. And they don't care about their exam. They look to monetize an admission exam. They started 16 or 18 different courses. They said it won't dilute the brand. They have a telecom management, technology management, bunch of different MBAs. So straight away, Symbiosis became about FABM, SCM HRD, and then the others. Between this, SIBM shades SCM HRD. So with this kind of broad base, let me increase my numbers, business-like thing that Snap and Symbiosis have done, SCM HRD de facto became vulnerable to slipping a little bit when the new IIMs came in. That's why Ranchi has caught up with SCM HRD. Even now, it is a bit of a toss-up between both of them. The economy is large enough that both of these will be considered good colleges. It's a toss-up probably between SCM HRD and IIM Ranchi. But why has IIM Ranchi caught up? It's an IIM. Natural brand extension happens. Symbiosis is way too business-like and has done a bunch of things to expand its footprint, that there has been some amount of brand dilution. See, how was IIT Kakinada? See, IIT is a good college, but anytime there's a new campus, we really need to wait 2-3 years. IIT should expand and go down well, and the brand is extendable. It's a wonderful brand, good alumni network, all of that. But Kakinada, we'll have to wait and watch. Right? I'm getting quite a few questions of specific A versus B college type thing. Please do put them in comments and not in chat. Comments, they stay there for a while. We will be able to address them in time. If you put them in chat, then it's going to disappear or fade away a little bit by the time we finish this. But put it in comments, we will reply to those. And so X versus Y college queries which are specific, please put them in comments and not in chat. Again, just a reminder, we're going to have a full-fledged session for how to prepare for a CAT around about this time next year. Keep it in mind. IMB versus IMC, rationale to choose one over the other. I got into both. I went to IIM Bangalore because Bangalore was I like the city. I seriously thought about IIM Cal because there was no attendance requirement. So it's a toss-up. Take it easy. Be thrilled that you've got both. Speak to a couple of alumni, whichever one you get a feel for. Go. I cannot, in all honesty, say one is way better than the other. You should definitely join one over the other if you go get both. It's a toss up. Good colleges, wonderful problem to have. Speak to a few alumni wherever your gut says, go there. CA rank holder, 2 years experience, but they have any advantage over for interview calls? Nothing for calls. Your CAT score and everything else. For calls, it will matter because in that group you'll have. Fine. So, but there's nothing there to nothing beyond that for the call. But IIMs love chartered accountants, so it'll help in your interview phase. I heard CAT 2020 might get cancelled. Wherever you heard it from, they're just cooking up stuff. The IIMs have not announced their plans for what they're going to do for the first term. And so whoever is spreading this information is just merely cooking stuff up. And so it's just random news. It's just there's bad news going around. COVID is in the news. All of us know that it can affect anything. And you can just take COVID could affect and play bingo and add 100 statements. COVID is seriously going to affect the New Year celebration for CAT 2021. So all the 5-star hotels in Mumbai are thinking about that. Of course they will at some point of time. It's just one of those things. Whoever has knows that they can put something clickbaity and a bunch of people will read it and be taken in by it, they've done it. And so there is no basis for anyone to confidently say whether this will be revisited. We don't know. Right? So forget about it. It's just idle speculation for no good reason. Can we play a loan through scholarship? Of course. You get a scholarship, you can pay the loan through that. Nobody's going to prevent you from doing that. Among new IIMs, I think Ranchi and Trichy are a shade better than the other 4. New IIMs are right CAT again. We had a lengthy discussion on that. Have a look at that. IIT Delhi, fantastic college. Good paying SaaS company or low paying healthcare company? Good paying SaaS company. Why don't have a healthcare? You have a healthcare bias, then you should go and take that. Generally, by and large, if you have a bias and you have information, if you have a bias towards a vertical or you have information about a company, then you can take a pay hit. If you don't have that, don't take a pay hit. Mica is a good college. If you're interested in marketing, brand building and advertisement, Mica is one of the better colleges. Go for it. BBIM's EWS cutoff, you'll have that information available. I'm not on top of that. We will answer this in comments. If I start now, I can get 99 percentile. Definitely. Fine. So prepare seriously with your head. Put your head down and plan. Fine. Specialization, different new IIMs are famous for. God knows. There's no specialization even the old IIMs are famous for. All this famous for is nonsense. Fine. So we contrive this. When I studied there, there was not even like a hardcore finance specialization or hardcore. About 180 people in my batch, 15 of them would have identified themselves as hardcore fin and 20 would have identified themselves as hardcore marketing. Rest of us were just plain hardcore. Fine. So we didn't need a tag at the end of it. Fine. So it's this whole specialization malarkey is overrated. Go do well, learn everything, pick the courses the good professors offer, you'll go places. And there's no specialization. XLRI is known for HR. SCM HRD and is known for HR. Mica is known for advertising. That's it. Everything else is the same for everything. Order of preference for MBA finance. Order of preference for MBA is order of preference for MBA finance. They're not wildly apart. SIBM Pune versus IIM Trichy Ranchi, almost the same level. Pune would have a historical advantage. Trichy Ranchi would have a brand building advantage. Which is SIBM Pune. I would give it a shade more preference over Trichy and Ranchi, but it's very marginal. L versus K, no brainer. Lucknow is better than Kozhikode. I don't like Kozhikode's selection criteria as well, so I'll use that as a weapon against them. So L is better than K. Certification courses important for conversion. Unless they are meaningful, they are not. Meaningful, they're about 2-3. CFA level 1, level 2, good. But 6 Sigma and this and that, everybody would have done something like that. It's not a material advantage. PGP Sustainable Management at IIM Lucknow is MBA IIM Raipur. I've not heard great things about sustainable management. So MBA IIM Raipur probably be a good pick. Sustainable management seems to be another addition there in the mix. FMS or IMK, FMS. Almost same ranking. FMS is dirt cheap. KG Somaya is a good college. Not in the top 25. but a good college nevertheless. Good legacy. They teach. They know their stuff. They have a alumni network. It'll have a standard companies coming and recruiting it. Not in the top 25, but it's a good college. Possible for an engineer from tier 2, 3 college. Yeah, you have a good score. You'll get called. Got a 3 lakh per annum job. You get new IIM. 3 lakh per annum job. New IIM. It depends on how many years of experience you have. If you have 3 years of experience, take up the new IIM. If you're a fresher, then you're not evaluating vis-a-vis your ROI. You're evaluating vis-a-vis your chances of landing a better college next time around. FMS Delhi, which is IML, IML shades it in terms of branding placements where it can take you. FMS is a big advantage when it comes to price. If you simply cannot, if you can write your own check, join IML. If loan is not a big deal, join IML. If you want to be an entrepreneur very quickly, join FMS Delhi, because then you don't have a loan to worry about. IML is a better college. FMS is dirt cheap. Depends on which criteria is more important, the bias would shift. For operations, IIM Shillong versus IIT KGP. There's no classification by specialization. And operations NITI is known for. Everyone else is same for everything. Not a big shift. I've converted IMK. Is it worth joining IMK? IMK is a good college. Any which way, it'll be in the top 10. Unless you are convinced that you have a great shot at ABC, join IMK. And validate your decision twice, thrice. If you're a general candidate, ABC, you need to get 99.7 to get a call. And then there's interviews and the rest of it. And IMK is pretty much in the mix. My bias would be toward joining. After we get call from ABC, profile, does it matter? Yes, it matters. On the interview, they evaluate. For the interview, they don't. Why don't you like IMK selection criteria? They keep changing it. They do some random arbitrary stuff. They do use lots of fudges. One year they'll say we like experience. Another year they'll say we care more about academics. The third year, there was a year where they gave back a criteria of 30% for 10th, 12th and UG, and 10% for CAT. Just random, and it's not consistent. They don't stand for one thing. They keep mixing it up and experimenting. They rubbish some board exams, some states. They give too much priority to some obscure criteria. I don't like that. IMT Ghaziabad or IIM Delhi, IMT Ghaziabad or XIMB. IMT Ghaziabad and XIMB same range, but not both better than IIM Delhi. New IIMs Ranchi and Trichy a shade better than probably the other 4. My job doesn't allow too much time, sir. It does. If you're attending this YouTube session, you can definitely prepare for CAT. Anybody, practically anybody, can carve out 10 hours per week. Sacrifice sleep, sacrifice movies, streaming, YouTube, scramble, hustle, steal time while traveling, shift your house to be close to your office. Don't spend time on social media. Get 10 hours per week for 6 months. You have a shot. Give yourself that chance. Wonderful, guys. I think I've covered pretty much all of this. Remember, we're going to have a specific session on how to prepare for CAT a week from now or 6 days from now, either Saturday or Sunday. So we look forward to, one of us will be here to chat about that. So please drop in for that. There's one question on Visakhapatnam or IMT Ghaziabad. IMT Ghaziabad, between those two. Wonderful, guys. I think we've had a good session. Lovely. Many thanks for you guys to drop in. Looking forward to catching up with you guys toward the end. And thank you. Have a good day. Have a good week. Stay safe. Don't stay hydrated.